Genetics. Genetics is an incredibly fascinating and complex field of science that explores how traits are inherited, passed down from generation to generation, and how genes influence various aspects of living organisms. Introduction to genetics. In this video, you can start by explaining what genetics is: the study of genes, heredity, and genetic variation in living organisms. You can highlight key historical milestones, such as Gregor Mendel's pea plant experiments, which laid the foundation for understanding inheritance patterns. Discuss the discovery of DNA as the genetic material and the famous double helix structure. Introduce basic genetic terms like alleles, genotype, and phenotype, and how they relate to the expression of traits. Mendelian inheritance. This video can delve deeper into Gregor Mendel's experiments with pea plants. Explain the concepts of dominant and recessive traits and how they relate to the different forms of a gene, alleles. Use Punnett squares to demonstrate how the combination of alleles from parents predicts the genetic outcomes of their offspring. Provide real-life examples of Mendelian inheritance in humans and other organisms. DNA structure and replication. Explain the structure of DNA, including the sugar phosphate backbone, nitrogenous bases, adenine, thymine, cytosine, guanine, and the complementary base pairing rules, AT and CG. Show how DNA replication occurs during cell division, using animations or diagrams to illustrate the process of DNA unwinding, base pairing, and the formation of two identical DNA strands. Genetic disorders. Introduce different genetic disorders, both single-gene disorders, caused by mutations in a single gene, and chromosomal disorders, caused by abnormalities in the number or structure of chromosomes. Explain how these disorders are inherited, the role of carriers, and the likelihood of passing on the condition to offspring. Discuss ongoing research and potential treatments for some of these genetic disorders. Human Genome Project. Explain the Human Genome Project, a collaborative effort to sequence and map all the genes in the human genome. Discuss the significance of this project in advancing our understanding of genetics, disease research, and personalized medicine. Highlight some of the key findings and breakthroughs that have resulted from this massive undertaking. Gene editing and CRISPR. Introduce the revolutionary CRISPR-Cas9 gene editing technology. Explain how CRISPR works to cut and modify specific DNA sequences, making targeted genetic changes. Discuss potential applications, such as treating genetic diseases, creating genetically modified organisms, and the ethical implications of gene editing. Heredity in humans. Explore various human traits, both physical and behavioral, and explain how they are inherited from parents. Discuss examples of dominant and recessive traits in human populations, such as attached or unattached earlobes, tongue rolling ability, and genetic disorders like albinism or cystic fibrosis. Epigenetics. Explain the concept of epigenetics, which refers to changes in gene expression that don't involve alterations in the DNA sequence itself. Discuss how environmental factors, lifestyle choices, and stress can impact gene expression and potentially influence health outcomes for individuals and even future generations. Genetic engineering and GMOs. Describe the process of genetic engineering, where specific genes are inserted or modified in an organism's DNA to confer new traits or characteristics. Discuss the role of genetically modified organisms, GMOs, in agriculture, their potential benefits in terms of crop yields and disease resistance, and the concerns related to their safety and impact on the environment. Genetic counseling. Explain the role of genetic counselors in helping individuals and families understand their genetic risks, particularly when it comes to inherited diseases or conditions. Discuss the process of genetic counseling, the importance of family medical history, and how genetic counselors provide information and support for making informed decisions about family planning and healthcare.